Welcome back, my panda pals! I am finally caught up with Seeking Sister Wife, so today we are going to be recapping Season 5, Episode 4. I gotta say that if it was not for Garrick, these episodes would be a lot less entertaining, because that man is insane. He gets away with a lot, but Natalia is not down for any of his nonsense and calls him out on his bullshit, and I am here for it. I'm gonna go ahead and cover the Merrifields last because a lot of the other couples were relatively uneventful this episode, and I had a lot of words about Garrick. So let's dive right in. You know what that means. Sit down, buckle up, and let's go for a ride. Last episode, Ashley decided to end things with Grace after how rude and disrespectful she was to Shane during their first meeting. Ashley is moving forward and she heads out on a date with a new lady named Sarah.
She seems like young-spirited and fun, and seems like we have a lot of things in common.
Sarah is a gorgeous. Like, I know Shane says that he's doing this polygamy thing to appease Ashley and let her explore her sexuality, but if things go well, I have a feeling that Shane is also gonna be doing this a little bit for him too. Sarah is bisexual and has an 8-year-old child, and she liked that Ashley was already a mother. She also says that she prefers relationships to be more open and has actually dated a few couples in the past. The two women seem to be hitting it off pretty well, and Ashley tells us she feels so much more comfortable and natural with Sarah than she ever was with Grace.
I almost had to convince Grace to consider being okay with this relationship dynamic, whereas Sarah is like already coming into it very open-minded.
Sarah says that she's totally open to meeting Shane ASAP because in the past, she's usually met the couples at the same time on the first date. The two ladies kiss each other goodbye, and this date is marked an overwhelming success. Ashley comes home from her date and she tells Shane that it went great and that they even kissed goodbye. Ashley tells him that Sarah is interested in meeting him.
I can't tell you how relieved I am to hear that Sarah would be okay with meeting me because it doesn't put any red flags in my mind like Grace did.
Shane can tell the date went great because Ashley has a huge smile on her face, and he says that the fact that Ashley kissed her first means that she doesn't feel like she has to walk on eggshells the way that she did with Grace.
I mean, she looks gorgeous, right?
Yeah, and in real life, she looked just the same, just as gorgeous, so that was a plus.
Yeah.
Oh, she's gorgeous. You will be very happy. Last episode, Danielle decided to move back home where she admitted that she is not interested in expanding the family at this point in time. Nick is confused because everyone has been very open about growing the family and what that would look like.
We've always been completely open and honest with her about wanting to expand the family. So I'm not really sure what to make of all this right now.
So the expectation was clearly set that Danielle would be dating and eventually marrying another woman for Nick. Jennifer asks her what her issues are with the idea of dating, and Danielle says that it's just challenging for her to really think about it enough to even clarify her feelings. April voices support, saying that she understands that Danielle is insecure, especially considering that she is the newest addition to their family.
You are my wife just as much as Jenny. This family wouldn't be the same without you. I wouldn't want to raise Vera without you.
Danielle says she understands, but that doesn't make it any easier. This family is her first serious relationship, so growing the family comes with a lot of changes that she is just unfamiliar with. She apologizes and says that she's not trying to be hurtful or difficult, and she does understand that she now needs to work things out with them and not on her own.
It was like the worst few days of my life, and it was really eye-opening. It was so obvious to me. I was like, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else besides with them. But dating another woman, it's a little scary.
Nick and Danielle meet up to talk one-on-one.
Sometimes it's easier to say things to one person rather than multiple, just because you feel less pressure.
Danielle tells him that things can be challenging considering the family was together for so long before she arrived, and they had already established rules and ways that things would work. She says that she doesn't want to stir the pot or make waves, but things that worked before may not necessarily work now that she's in the picture, and she isn't always comfortable with voicing that. Nick is empathetic and says that her feelings are valid and he does not want to make her feel like she can't voice those concerns. He asks her what her expectations are going forward regarding their family.
We're dating someone and I'm like, oh, this is moving way too quick for my liking. Or even if the group consistency is yes, 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 I need to not be afraid to be like, maybe not.
Nick tells us that Dannielle leaving was very hard on the entire family, but particularly hard for April. He says that the fact that Dannielle still has her lease at the other apartment concerns him a lot because it leaves the door open for Dannielle to leave again at any moment. Last episode, the Ryans go out on the hunt for a new potential sister wife, and they end up scoring a date with Desiree, who did not seem super into them, but surprisingly agreed to go out. The pair head to a boba shop, which, great choice, but I'm a little biased. The couple are waiting, and they start to get a little worried that they're about to get stood up when Justin receives a text from Desiree.
She said she thinks she's chickening out. I appreciate the offer. Hope you guys do find someone truly interested.
The two are clearly bummed out that things did not work out and are reminded of how Stephanie would use very similar excuses to back out whenever she got scared.
It just reminded me of what Stephanie said. She was like, I feel like I'm coming out as gay in the 1950s.
The pair return home, thankful that they have each other, and choose to be optimistic that their search will one day be fruitful. Last episode, Dannielle started to grow concerned that she hasn't been vibing with Natalia as quickly as she did with Roberta, and Garrick, a blessed be the fruit, is super stoked because Natalia's super hot. It's a new day and Garrick is flirting with Natalia in the kitchen, making breakfast as Dannielle is getting ready in the bathroom. Dannielle tells us that she's starting to feel very overwhelmed.
I don't feel like we're moving too fast. I just feel like it's scary because Roberta hurt us bad.
I love how she keeps saying us, but Garrick is fine. He has moved on. Roberta, who? Natalia asks Dannielle if the two of them can sit down and have a little one-on-one chat.
I think she is sensing my feelings. I feel like it's going to irritate Garrick because he's wanting to move forward.
No, duh, he wants to move forward. He told us that he will not stick it in her if they are not married, and he's definitely wanting to dump his Holy Spirit inside of her. ASA possible. Like, he wants to Holy Spirit her multiple times a day. Natalia tells us that she knows they want to move the relationship forward quickly due to how long the immigration process can take, but she wants to make sure that this is what Dannielle really wants because she does not seem super enthusiastic about it.
Do you have doubts about me being the right person, or do you have doubts about really being this lifestyle you want to live? I want to know how you feel seeing my closeness with Garrick.
Dannielle says that the doubt she feels is because Roberta was with them for over 3 years and the breakup was really difficult. Plus, she's nervous and afraid because joining families is a big deal, and she wants to make sure that Natalia can commit to this lifestyle.
That's not a problem for me. I'm in love with Garrick. I need to know if this is really what you want, because it also has a big impact on my life.
I feel really bad for Dannielle because she told us that in the past, Roberta was like a sister and a best friend to her, and that the connection was immediate. And now she's with Natalia, who's basically saying that she loves Garrick, but her not so much. This new relationship with Natalia really feels like Dannielle is getting the short end of the stick. Garrick comes in and asks them what they're talking about.
She says she senses that I'm not happy.
I don't feel safe being in a polygamous relationship, knowing that you'd still feel afraid.
You told her you're afraid?
He says he doesn't understand because Dannielle has only ever said that she is 100% in this. I am not surprised that Garrick is confused to hear that Dannielle isn't happy because he seems pretty self-centered and very unconcerned / unaware of Danielle's emotions. On the flip side, I am surprised he's shocked considering how Dannielle has voiced her concerns to him multiple times. Garrick goes on to tell us that he's confused at Dannielle's fears and also kind of disappointed because she's basically getting in the way of God's plan for them.
God promised our family more than just Dannielle. I had a vision years ago that I had 5 wives and they were good.
Does someone have to sit down and teach Garrick what a wet dream is? Bro, if you want to have 5 wives, go have 5 wives. But do not sit there and tell me that it is God's will for you to baste these Brazilian bitches with your baby batter. Natalia says that she thinks they need to slow down so that Dannielle can get to a place where she's more comfortable with the relationship. And of course, Garrick is like, yeah, but God.
You told me that God spoke to you, but I don't think God would like to see Donnie unhappy.
Thank you, Natalia. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy that she said this because Garrick keeps pulling out God said whenever he needs to make some absolute horseshit thing he said true, or whenever he needs to trample Danielle's needs to get his way and not make him the bad guy. Natalia asks Garrick to leave so that she can continue speaking with Dannielle alone. And dude, I hope Natalia does not turn into a red flag because I'm such a huge fan of her awareness and her actions in handling the situation.
I want to know if you really want the lifestyle or if it's something you're doing just because Garrick wants to.
She can see that Garrick is trying to talk for Dannielle, and his presence in the room is obviously influencing Danielle's ability to speak honestly about her feelings, so she takes Garrick out of the equation, which was the right thing to do. We already all know how Garrick feels, and this conversation is about Dannielle and how she feels.
No, I'm not doing this just because of Garrick. I know 100% God did this in our life. I was the one that suggested living this way to Garrick.
I do not believe that. I'm sure that she probably was the first one to initiate the conversation about it, but it's definitely not because she wanted it. And I know she doesn't believe in the whole it's God's will thing because how can you look like this when he says that, you know? I do think that Dannielle is okay with the addition of a female, but I think it's because she really wants a friend. Because Garrick does not listen to her, does not validate her feelings, and obviously does not value her opinion.
God brought you into our life and that you're supposed to be a wife and that God told that to Garrick.
It is so interesting that God only seems to be saying this to Garrick. Like, he's having all of these visions and witnessing and getting all of these feelings, and Dannielle just has to blindly have faith. Dannielle goes on to say that she's pretty nervous that Natalia can read her emotions so well because what if this leads her to say no to Garrick's proposal? And what if it does? Is that really such a bad thing? She's saying no because you are not comfortable with the situation. I know that this is like a foreign feeling for you because Garrick obviously does not do this, but Natalia is taking your feelings into consideration. You keep saying that relationships are hard and we all have to struggle, but you are the only one struggling. If you need more time to become comfortable in this relationship, the only downside is that Garrick doesn't get to hide his sausage in her sheets. That's it. So yeah, if you needing more time has got you scared that he's gonna hate you for ruining that for him, then I don't know, maybe he sucks and you should divorce him for real for real. It's evening and Natalia and Garrick are making dinner when Natalia tells him that he's got some splaining to do.
You told me that you are no longer on a dating site, but I can see that you are still.
Dannielle walks in on this conversation and I swear, girl knows that her husband is full of the stankiest stank and I just don't know what compels her to let him get away with it. Is he a snake? Does he have two dingalings down there? Like, what is going on? Cause look at her face. Like, girl, you can smell it, come on. And we all know that you know it is coming from his butt. Natalia tells us that she's stressed because he's lying about deleting these apps, which is an idea that he proposed to her unprompted. Dannielle slides in to try to call him on his bullshit as best as she can.
You still have your profile on there.
Oh, gee.
You knew that they could see your profile.
But they can't message.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Get the f*** out of here. Dude, your plan is to have 5 wives. You really want us to believe that you forgot that you didn't delete those dating apps that you are actively getting notifications for?
I'm not sure what to do. I mean, I'm being cornered by these 2 women and they are livid.
Oh, I don't know. Why don't you try pulling your head out of the deepest corners of your apparently cavernous ass and start telling the truth? He is an absolute loser. Garrick keeps trying to play dumb, like, oh, I didn't know rain was wet. And he's so bad at lying that I am shocked this is the first time we're really seeing someone call his bullshit. He says, I didn't know people could interact with me on the dating app. Danny says, yeah, people can interact with you on the dating app that you did not delete. And then he says, well, yeah, that's why I said I should delete it. Hold up a minute. So you're saying that you did not know that people could interact with you on the app, and now you're saying you did know, which is why you suggested you should delete it in the first place. If you're gonna lie, at least be consistent. Danielle goes on to say that he specifically told her he wouldn't delete the app. And he's like, oh, what? I said that? Moi?
I asked you to do that months ago and you wouldn't do it. You were like, why? We're gonna be searching for other wives. And now you just like, oh, no problem, I'll delete it.
Garrick is starting to realize that he cannot lie himself out of this, so he starts to change tactics and starts gaslighting Danielle instead.
I said,
disagree
if
with
we
me, you
delete
did
the
disagree
app,
with-
will
you
that
did.
take away all our information?
And I said, yes, it will.
No, I mean, it
Danny tells us that she's hurt because when she brought up deleting the app months ago, he disagreed with her, and now that Natalia's bringing it up, he deletes it right on the spot.
It feels like a huge lack of respect. We've been together for so long, and I literally said the same thing.
Yeah, it is absolutely a lack of respect, but what did you expect? He knows he can do that with you, and he knows he can't get away with it with Natalia. Look at today. Natalia has already called him out twice on his bullshit. And you go around telling people that you believe him when he says that God came to him in a vision in his garage to specifically tell him that he needs to find 5 women to bang. And that, my Panda Pals, is all for today. Thank you so much for the people who suggested I recap this show, because I've been having a pretty good time. Anyway, thank you so much for joining. Stay tuned for the next one. And as always, thanks for not letting me ride this train wreck alone. Bye!